afternoon and welcome to SuperScreen News at 12. I am Olamide Omuga. President Muhammadu Buhari has told state governors elected on the aegis of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, to give him more time to decide whether or not he would seek re-election in 2019. Chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum, Rochas Okorocha, disclosed this to journalists at the end of the meeting held behind closed doors. Okorocha said the president promised he would soon address the nation and the caucus of the party on the matter. The APC governors who met with Buhari earlier in the day joined all the governors from all the political parties and former presidents and heads of government for a meeting of the Council of State. You will recall that former President Olusegun Obasanjo and former military dictator Ibrahim Babangida, among other political religious leaders, had asked Buhari not to seek re-election in 2019. Northern senators have removed Senator Abdullahi Adamu as chairman of the forum over alleged financial mismanagement of 70 million naira. Senator Shehu Sani, representing Kaduna Central, disclosed this to journalists after a letter sent to the Senate was read by the Deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu, just before the end of plenary session.
This is from the Northern Senators Forum. The President of the Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Announcement of removal of Senator Abdullahi Adamu as Chairman, Northern Senators Forum. This is to inform the Senate that the majority signatories of members of the Northern Senators Forum, we have removed Senator Abdullahi Adamu as the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum for financial mismanagement and maladministration. We announce his replacement with Senator Aliu Wamako immediately. Find the attached names and signatories of members.
Sani said the money belonging to the Northern Senators Forum in custody of Abdullahi Adamu when he emerged as chairman could not be accounted for, given an alibi that monkeys raided his farmhouse and made away with it.
The rumors going around, which I don't know whether it's true, but I believe most of the senators know, was the fact that there were allegations that some monkeys raided the farmhouse of some of the executives of the Northern Senators Forum and carted away some of this money. Now I think this country is becoming a whole joke. First of all, it was the rodents that drove away the president, and then we now have snakes consuming about 36 million.
When approached, Senator Adamu declined making any comments on the matter. The House of Representatives Committee on Emergency and Disaster has sent back the management of the National Emergency Management Agency for what it described as improper documentation and its inability to defend its 2017 budget performance. The agency said it spent a total amount of 1.6 billion naira on repatriation and rehabilitation of Nigerian refugees from Libya, an action which the committee claimed was being handled by NAPTIP and the Refugees Commission. The agency said the expenditure covers airlift of returnees from Tripoli to Port Harcourt, fact-finding negotiation and mission to Libya, international and local media and publicity, and others. The session, which was presided over by the committee deputy chairman Ali Issa, who represented PDP from Gombe, asked the management of the emergency agency to present some documents to back up some of its claims. Now, Boko Haram terrorists have killed 5 civilians and 2 soldiers in Cameroon and Chad just a day after attacking Dapchi Girls' School in Yobe State, Nigeria. An anonymous source close to the administrative authorities in the northern Cameroon border area said a group of Boko Haram fighters made an incursion during Tuesday night in Asigasha, killing 5 people and injuring 5. The raid was confirmed along with the casualty told by an official in the Cameroon Security Services. Asigasha is a border town which gives direct access to Nigeria and has seen many Boko Haram incursions in the past. The Boko Haram militants are blamed for killing another civilian in the town in January. In Chad, 2 soldiers, including a captain, were killed in a Boko Haram ambush on Wednesday. The attack took place in the west of the country in the Lake Chad region near the Nigerian frontier as the troops were returning from a border patrol. The Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, says the Nigerian government needs more time to assess the situation in the community where some schoolgirls were reportedly kidnapped in Yobe State on Monday. Mohammed, who disclosed this to journalists, said on the issue of the number of missing girls, they do not have the total number yet. The minister was amongst the 3 ministers which was asked by President Muhammadu Buhari to embark on an immediate fact-finding mission to the state. You will recall that scores of girls were reportedly missing following a Boko Haram attack on the school on Monday night. Now, the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has directed Commissioners of Police of all the state commands and the Federal Capital Territory to commence the recovery of prohibited firearms in the country. Police spokesman, Commissioner of Police Jimo Moshood, who disclosed this, said the categories of the prohibited are artillery apparatus for the discharge of any explosive of gas, diffusing projectile, rocket weapons, bombs and grenades. Others are machine guns and machine pistols, military rifles, those of caliber 7.62 millimeters, 9 mm, as well as 300 inches revolver, and pistols whether rifled or unrifled, including flintlocks and cap pistols. Moshood said this action would enable the Nigerian police force deal decisively with herders and farmers' clashes, kidnappings, armed robbery, cattle rustlings, militancy and terrorism in the country. Now, the Inspector General of Police Monitoring Unit in River State have discovered a baby factory in Owerri that specializes in camping teenage pregnant girls with the intentions of selling their babies after delivery. The State Police Command disclosed this to journalists when the suspects were paraded in the state.
Speaking with newsmen, the State's Commissioner of Police, Zaki Ahmed, represented by the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of the administration, Zaira Okoro, said the monitoring unit acted on credible intelligence information that the suspects conspired to sell a 2-month-old baby boy.
Conspiracy and child trafficking. Operatives of the IGP monitoring unit, led by ACP Bennett Igwe, acting on credible intelligence, arrested the following persons, namely Nkechi Uzuemene, female; Roslyn Oke, female; Nwaolurita, female.
The owner of the baby factory, known as Mercy Home Orphanage, Ngozi Egionu, claimed that the place is duly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission and equally debunked the allegation of it being a baby factory.
In December, a girl, that one girl with the woman that she said that is her senior sister, her mom's senior sister, that she's an orphan, no mother, no father. She has 3 children out of wedlock. And then the one that pregnanted her, the one she's carrying, she doesn't know the person. And the baby was so sick, dying. She said she doesn't want this baby to die, that we should accept this baby from her.
So not at the beginning, I made the woman and he brought me for this woman. And this woman take care of me for this impediment. I made this woman that instead of this my baby to die, let me carry the baby, and this is the person that will take care of the baby. So the woman of God called me. So the woman take us to make me rush baby to hospital. We go to this police. From police we go to court. They snap us there. They snap us in that.
The Deputy Commissioner of Police called on residents to be vigilant about their surroundings and cooperate with the police to rid the state of crimes.
In other news, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has called to question the competence of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to credibly deliver on the 2019 general election as an unbiased and impartial umpire. National Chairman of the party, Uche Secondus, said the alleged registration of minors by INEC in recent elections held in Kano and Katsina State has brought doubts about INEC's competence for the assignment before it. Secondus said INEC is doing everything on the negative side against Nigerians to rig elections in 2019, but insists that the party will come up at the appropriate time to show data to prove that. He explained the imperative of grassroots mobilization, noting that the era of easy politics is over. The national chairman of the party tasked members to take the message of a rebranded People's Democratic Party to their various constituencies, insisting that until this was done, the slogan of the PDP, "Power to the People," is meaningless. Now, the need to promote their heritage and culture in Africa has been brought to the fore at the Conference on African Origins. Some paramount rulers at the conference says history must be brought back and taught in documentary school. Culture is the art and custom that characterizes a society or nation. In Nigeria, historians and traditional rulers believe the youth of today knows little or nothing about Nigeria's history, positing that the cultural values have been eroded owing to foreign influences and ignorance. At this conference, these paramount rulers lend their voices on the importance of empowering the new and incoming generations with African true genetic and cultural history.
If you don't know our history, if you don't know our heritage, we're deceiving ourselves. There is no nation in the world that has grown without the heritage, the culture, and tradition of that nation. Look at Japan. They did not jettison their heritage. Look at China. Look at India. Even the United States of America, that it converged. They picked a particular heritage and tradition, which is their diversity. What are we coming together to stand for? United we stand, divided we fall.
A country without history has nowhere to go to. You let people to tell you your own history, and they'll tell it the way they like. History is no more taught in schools or seriously. Most of you have read history of Suman Guru, the Indian Empire, or all the empires that existed before now. But some of our young men don't know anything about the kings of their kingdom, how they came about. The best thing that we're doing now to promote our culture, promote homogeneity, to try as much as possible to say that we'll come of age and that we can do things for ourselves.
The speakers also look at the new scientific evidence on origins of African culture and Nigerian people at large.
Culture being the principal aspect driver of development, we think ultimately about philosophy as the core of culture. And at this point, we're also interested in the autonomous mind, what the human mind can create. This is the basis of what then drives evolution, development, etc. We cannot throw away some of the things that have come to us, modernity and Christianity and Islam, but it's our duty to combine these things in the best possible ways with our tradition for our well-being.
Situations, namely when you talk of the Fulani or the Hausas who came, they came on this platform and they believe that we are backward, we are pagan, our systems are barbaric. Now, unfortunately, we have not been able to intellectualize and articulate our platform as that no, our platform is not backward. We have a system based on 16 by 16, which the Constitution, 256. Now, this is a system that was created 7,000 years ago. For the latest technology in the world, the computer system, is based on that same 256 pulses. So I don't know how we get to when you say Yoruba culture, Igala culture is backward.
The stakeholders believe a well-articulated cultural identity and interrelationships of original Africans is necessary to improve cultural pride, improve work ethics, and will also serve as basis for political unity. The All Progressives Congress stalwart Bola Ahmed Tinubu has accused the national chairman, John Odije Oyegun, of frustrating the reconciliation efforts in the ruling party. Tinubu said the chairman had compounded the challenge of reconciliation by taking improper unilateral decision on issues affecting national and state chapters. Tinubu also said Oyegun had refused to cooperate by delaying the release of information critical to the resolution of crisis in the state chapter. Now, 12 out of 20 local government of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos State has passed a vote of no confidence on the state chairman, Moshood Salvador. The vote of no confidence was passed on the chairman yesterday at the party's Badagry Divisional Assembly held in Festac area of Lagos State. More details coming from this report.
These are prominent leaders of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Lagos State. They have converged on Festac Town in Lagos State for the Badagry Divisional General Assembly. But this time, the meeting took a different dimension, with the announcement that 12 out of the party's 20 local government chairmen, with the decision of their leaders, have passed a vote of no confidence on the current party chairman, Moshood Salvador, with a communique issued at the end of the meeting.
Hereby pass a vote of no confidence in the person and the office of Honorable Moshood Salvador and the state chairman of PDP in Lagos State. He seeks to be our chairman. So we have all agreed. Is that all we have agreed? Today, a vote of no confidence has been passed on Moshood Salvador by majority, by the excellent majority of party members in Badagry Division of West Central District.
In an interview with SuperScreen news crew, they say the excesses of the state chairman necessitated their action.
Moshood Salvador was not voted for. He came in through acclamation of the members. And when the dissolution came, it was supposed to affect everybody. But unfortunately, he refused, he refused to leave the place. And that is why everybody is very, very annoyed. And we are here to tell the world that it's not one of us.
High-handedness, maladministration, and impunity of the highest order. So those three are enough constitutionally to unseat anybody holding a political office at the party level.
For quite a long time, he has been disobeying the leaders. He's not listening to leaders. He's not listening to the party. I would rather tell him to go and amend his own way. He should go and amend his way.
As of the time of filing this report, the state chairman could not be reached for his comment. It remains to be seen whether or not the state chairman Moshood Salvador will bow to the call for him to step down, or he will simply turn a deaf ears to the call.
Many thanks for staying with us on SuperScreen News at 12. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll take some news from the business scene. Stay with us. Welcome back to SuperScreen News at 12. On the business scene, the House of Representatives has asked the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachiko, and the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, the NNPC, Mike Antubaro, to halt the federal government's bid to spend $1.8 billion on another turnaround maintenance on the country's 4 refineries. The refineries, 2 located in Port Harcourt and 1 each in Kaduna and Warri, have been unable to refine crude for domestic consumption and possible exportation of finished products. NNPC takes 445,000 barrels of crude daily for the purpose of refining for domestic consumption, but the country now depends almost 100% on importation of its fuel energy needs. A House resolution in November 2017 had directed the NNPC to stop the fresh TAM, pending the outcome of an investigation by the House into the many maintenance efforts carried out on the facilities in the past. The chairman of the ad hoc committee set up by the House to conduct a probe, Garba Dati Dumadu, said the committee had received hints that the NNPC was actually proceeding with the project in disobedience to the House resolution. The Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC, has approved the sum of 635.55 billion naira to be shared to the 3 tiers of government from the Federation account as statutory allocation for the month of January. The figure was announced by the Accountant General of the Federation, Idris Ahmed, shortly after the FAC meeting, which was held at the headquarters of the Minister of Finance in Abuja. Ahmed said the 635.55 billion naira shared in January was about 20 billion naira lower than the 655.17 billion naira which the committee allocated to the 3 tiers of government in the month of December. Ahmed also said the amount was shared on the statutory allocation, where the sum of 538.9 billion naira was disbursed to the 3 tiers of government and a value-added tax of 96.64 billion naira. Still on the business scene, a bill for an act to amend the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2018 has passed through second reading at the Senate. The amendment bill before the Senate seeks to compel the Central Bank of Nigeria to submit its annual budget to the National Assembly in the course of the annual appropriation bill or subsequent one for transparency and accountability in the operations of the workings of the bank.
The CBN governor acts as the chairman of the CBN board, and this is not in accordance with the principles of corporate governance, which advocates the separation of roles of the chairman of board and the governor to ensure appropriate internal checks and balances. In most developed countries, to ensure accountability, banks are supervised by a board.
I want to advise, Mr. President, for the spirit of accountability and even to check corruption. It is good these 2 offices are separated, and you will be able to now have proper oversight by our relevant committees of the Senate over the CBN.
Some of the key issues in the bill are that it also seeks to amend the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2018 to appoint a person other than the governor as the chairman of the board. Other lawmakers share different views regarding the topic.
There is nothing wrong in the governor of CBN also being chairman. I think by the fact of what has been written in this paper, we have ended up even indicting ourselves.
Not to begin an example that will later haunt us.
The issue of bringing the CBN budget here is already settled under the Fiscal Responsibility Act. Because if you go to section 21 of that act, it says that the central bank and other government parastatals and agencies listed in the schedule, about 21 of them, will submit the annual budget to the Minister for Finance.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll take some stories from the foreign scene and some sports stories. So stay with us. Welcome back. On the foreign scene now, an armed officer, Broward Sheriff of Scott, Israel, assigned to the Florida school where a gunman killed 17 people last week, stood outside the building during the shooting and did not intervene. Scott, Israel said Deputy Scott Basson has resigned after being suspended. Earlier this week, President Trump said an arming school teachers could prevent school shootings. The proposal has long been championed by the powerful National Rifle Association gun lobby. Australia's Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce says he will resign following a politically damaging saga that began with his affair with a former staffer. Joyce said he would step down on Monday as the leader of the National's junior government partner. He had previously resisted calls to quit amidst intense scrutiny over his material and ministerial conduct. He described his decision as a circuit breaker for his family and a new partner. And now for some sports stories. CSKA Moscow has confirmed Nigeria striker Aaron Samuel his move to Russian league rivals Amkapan until the end of the season. CSKA Moscow made the announcement on their official website. Samuel had struggled for playing time for CSKA in the current campaign, making 7 Russian Premier League appearances, scoring just 1 goal in the matches CSKA Moscow has played so far. And finally, Ghana kept their Wafu Women's Cup dream alive as they beat Nigeria on penalties following a 1-1 draw in the semi-finals on Thursday. Nigeria started brightly, beating the Black Queens at their own game as they pressed high and afforded the arch rivals lead to space. And after 8 minutes, the endeavors brought the curtain raiser as Alice Ogebe headed past goalkeeper Patricia Mante. The Falcons were made to pay minutes later with Ampa Faustina firing home from a goal mount scramble. And after full-time scores stood at 1-1, the goalkeeper Mante was the hero of the shootout as she kept out 2 strikes. Ghana will face Cote d'Ivoire in the final, while Nigeria will play the 3rd-place match against Mali. And that's it on SuperScreen News at 12. I am Olamide Onwuka. Do have a beautiful rest of the day. It's bye for now.